If you guys are using ChatGPT to write your Upwork proposals or your email proposals, you are probably doing it completely wrong. Now, from experience and working with a lot of other freelancers, I understand that most people simply copy and paste a job posting, put it into GPT, and tell GPT to write a proposal for that job. That's why everyone's proposal sounds exactly the same, and that is probably why you are not getting the results through Upwork or email messaging that you should be. Today, I am going to show you exactly how I built an AI system through Claude that actually writes like me. So every proposal seems completely personable without having to take 35, 40, 45, up to an hour to actually write the proposals out. Instead of asking AI to simply write your proposal, what I'm going to show you today is how to actually teach AI to write like yourself. So in this video today, I am going to show you exactly how I built out a Claude system that writes a majority of my proposals, and I'm going to show you exactly how I trained that Claude system to do so. Okay guys, now that I have you up on my computer, I am going to show you how the system actually works before I get into the logistics of how I build it. So basically, this is just a Upwork job posting that I see here that I wouldn't mind to apply to. Basically, if I go ahead and paste this into my custom chat with Claude, Claude is going to take this job posting and ask me a series of questions. Now, these questions it asks me helps Claude understand deeply how I want to actually apply to this job. So which personal brand experiences feel most relevant here? I'm going to say Will Hardy, my own brand, and then Before Us. So all three. Yes, faith is very important to me. So that's something it'll automatically make a connection with. And then it is going to simply write out my proposal. Now, it is important to note, guys, that when you write out a proposal with Claude, even though Claude is amazing, you're still going to want to take that proposal and reformat a lot of it. So this system can basically get you to as close as perfect as possible, but it is still important to note that you're going to still have to do back end work after the proposal is wrote with Claude to be able to actually solidify the work and make sure that it sounds human and you're able to convey your message well. With that said, I just wanted to show you what it spit out to me here. I usually tweak this a lot, but this is obviously a really good start, and it knows the way I write and the way I do things on a very high level. So it's going to come out with a pretty good first draft right away, always. Now guys, if you want to see how I fully write out this Upwork proposal and the whole process with that, watch the video on my page, how I get my first SMMA client in 2026. I will link it in the description, but that'll give you a much more in-depth feel of how I actually write the proposals and how I customize them. With that said though, today we are going to simply be looking over how to actually build out the Claude system to be able to write your proposals in an efficient, personalized way. Okay guys, without further ado, this is the whole system. If you guys want this document, I am giving it away for free. Just literally DM me on Instagram. I will shoot it over to you as soon as you DM me. I just want to let you guys know that I'm not charging for this. This is no sort of lead magnet. Simply DM me on Instagram and I will send it over to you. With that said, this is how I go about giving Claude instructions and personalizing a chat to be able to write my proposals on a very high level. So how I actually like to write the proposals out. This is very important. So I'm going to give all this information to Claude. This is pretty stuff I've figured out along the way of how I actually like to write my proposals and the tone and stuff I like to use. This will also help Claude make those silly like AI sounding mistakes. Another thing I do is my proposal structure. So the opening line hooks immediately acknowledges client specific challenge, personal connection to industry, relevant experience, blah, blah, blah. This is also super important. And then this is the customizable part. So if you've been an agency owner, you have success stories. So this is where you're going to put that in. Now you can fill this up with as much detail as you want. I personally, in my own document that I gave Claude, I believe I have like 30 client wins in there. And then it also recognizes when I put new ones in that Claude chat because it has a memory. So it's able to constantly update it. But this is super important because Claude is going to be able to pull from your previous client wins and is going to be able to write a really, really great proposal off of that. Section 4, your services and skills. So what platforms do you work on? What tools do you use? What types of content do you create? Maybe you're in ads. What type of ads do you run? What's your experience? Your portfolio and links. This is also super important. So put all the portfolio and links that you can. This will help, when it needs to paste in a link somewhere, Claude will be able to pull from this. Maybe you want to offer a free offer as well. This is something I sometimes do. So normally I'll do, a couple free pieces of content potentially. Maybe I'll do a free audit. something like that at the end with a CTA usually works really, really well. So yeah, guys, that is the exact prompt I use. Something I forgot to mention, guys, that I also always add into a document like this is an example of an Upwork proposal that I previously wrote. So here's an Upwork proposal I wrote for lead generation to get client acquisition. I'm gonna paste that in there so the Claude chat understands how I normally write my proposals, how I format them, so it can have a good idea of how it should write my proposals moving forward. Yeah, so I just wanted to show that here as well. I totally forgot to mention that on the first one, but this is something I would always put into this document before downloading it into Claude as well. Guys, one super important part of this whole process is what I'm about to show you, and this is kind of what makes the whole thing flow super well. A prompt that I put in there as well after section 7 is when I paste in the job listing, ask me multiple choice questions to personalize before writing it. So guys, what this is going to do is basically Claude is going to ask you a bunch of questions. And let's just say it's an extensive proposal, like you need a lot of information for it. During those proposals, you could even ask Claude, normally you ask me 3 questions. For this proposal in particular, please ask me 10 questions. And that's what I'll do when I really want to get detailed with the proposal. But that is something, don't miss that when you're going to, build this. Always make sure that you have instructions for Claude in there to ask you multiple choice questions to be able to give the best answers possible. And of course, to be able to write the best proposal possible, because these questions are going to be able to help Claude get super detailed with the way you want to write it, and also add as much personal information in the proposal as possible. Okay, guys, I know this was a quick one, but that is literally my entire system. I came up with this myself. I never watched any videos on it. I just thought of it and I thought it'd be a really good idea, and it's worked incredibly for me. Couple important notes with the system, guys. Like I said, Claude isn't perfect. You are going to have to prompt it throughout, but this is the closest thing I've been able to get to a really, really good AI system to be able to write for me. And the magical thing about this is once you build this out once and you take the 30 minutes it takes to build it out in detail for yourself, you never have to worry about building it again, and you always have a personal little chat that knows exactly how you like to write and knows all of your information and all of your wins, so you can build the very best proposals possible. If this video helped, guys, make sure you hit subscribe, comment on what you'd like to see next. If there's any other tutorials I can help you with or anything like that, just let me know. And again, if you guys want the exact framework, just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I will send it over. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you on the next one.